In a world where entertainment and education is often mixed, how do we scope out the truth? We turn our heads to a small town in Salem. In a world where entertainment and education is often mixed, how can we scope out the truth? We turn to a small town in Massachusetts called Salem. A nice town on the surface, but underneath, a dark past, where 19 innocent people were tried and convicted. But how did this all begin? After Abigail fell ill, the town went into disarray. How could the devil be sleeping under their own noses in their own pastor's house? We don't know. To remedy it, Tituba, Paris' slave, thought it'd be a good idea to cure them, making witch cakes, which are biscuits made with dog urine. Safe to say that did not go to... After word started to get out about Salem, people came to inspect. One of those people being Reverend Burroughs, coming May 4th. And shortly after, Governor Phipps approving the royal trainers tried and accused witches. And the rest goes downhill from here. A part of Salem that must be talked about is its social classes. Now, Salem was not the one city we see today, but instead two towns, Salem Town and Salem Village. Salem Town held your old money, your blacksmiths, woodworkers, while Salem Village held your nobodies, your farmers, your lowmen. When the trials first started, class played a big part in who was accused of being a witch. If you were poor, you were a witch. If you were unliked, you were a witch. Which is probably why our first three were poor women and a slave. Because nobody could love them. Nobody wanted to love them. And so, a class divide started, with the poor accusing the rich and the rich accusing the poor. All over nothing but land and money. You can see its views in how we see witchcraft in media like Hocus Pocus, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and Bewitched. All things that fantasize witches, seeing them not as a fake, but as something to romanticize. Such as our three witches in Hocus Pocus, bumbling buffoons who go around cursing people. Now, while their appearance may look nice, they're not what we see as a witch back during the witch trials. The witch trials would be a poor woman who everyone hated, not a full of herself, all-powerful witch. Or when you look at Bewitched, a witch married to a human man. Now, while magical powers seem nice, you can't deny that, sadly, magic is not real, and we must live with that fact. And while we want to remember witches in a fantastical sense, we must remember that we are all human and that we must. Over the time, the use of the word witch hunt has gained and lost meaning, being used to talk about the Russians by President Trump, to being used to talk about communists in Hollywood. The latter being what we remember it being used today in works such as The Crucible, written by Arthur Miller. Where a witch hunt is used to discriminate and capture. No. This brings me back to my original point in the video. In a world where education and entertainment is mixed, how do we distinguish the truth? Well, we must look for it ourselves. With Salem, is it better to have a fantasized world or a realistic one? Money tells you it's better to have the fantasized world. Facts tell you it's better to have the realistic. I find having a mix of both is good. Fantasizing it and romanticizing it leads it in a way where people can comprehend the tragedies that have happened, while keeping it in the real world lets them know the gravity of it. There's no right answer when it comes to should we leave Salem for education or entertainment. But I believe a mix is due, and I believe that's what we're slowly going towards, is a mix of our education and entertainment in society. While some fear this, I bring it in with open arms as long as people can distinguish the two. Now, with many deaths, you'd think we look at Salem in a solemn view, but quite the opposite. We celebrate witchcraft and those who perish from it. The town of Salem alone made $700,000 last year in October alone because of the witch trials, because of parties that happened, celebrations, and tourism. Every year in October, they put on a festival to celebrate and to memorialize those who died. But the true memorial didn't happen until recently, when they put plaques for each victim. Till then, the only person who was really memorized was one who was never meant to die, Giles Corey, who died of stoning, being crushed by heavy rocks. Never meant to die, but he was the only one with a true show and memorial to himself. The rest? There are a plethora of causes for the trials, one of the main ones being religion. With the people of Salem, Massachusetts being part of a Puritan society, it means only God's elect could be a part of their society. This means if you didn't have a personal experience with God, you were not allowed in. But in the point of the Salem witch trials, a brand new thing has occurred, the halfway covenant. The halfway covenant allowed impure people to be a part of the church. They allowed people who were only baptized to be allowed into their society. This caused much fear and tension among the people, thinking that the devil would swoop their way into their perfect world. This, in turn, could be a part of why they were so scared when people started exhibiting symptoms. This brings me to my closing argument for today. What should Salem represent? In my eyes, Salem should represent a tragedy. Horrible things have happened there. And while we can never make up for it, we can learn our mistakes and learn not to repeat. Salem should represent the horrors that classism can cause, that hatred can cause towards people. When we are separated, we are alone. We turn on each other, and that's what Salem shows. I believe, without all the fanfare and flourishes, Salem at its core should represent those who died and how we can not repeat the past today.
in itself, what happened in Salem